It's Heath Mulligan. I'm here at the Wesleyan Gathering. I'm here with Pastor Mark Wilson from Hayword Wesleyan Church in Hayward, Wisconsin, the home state of the Green Bay Packers. I had to say that for my friend Tony Casey.
Big Green.
Mark, you recently put a book out, Purple Fish, but it's about evangelism. Let me ask you this question. Have we made evangelism almost like this doctoral level thing, that we've put it above people's heads that they think they can't do it anymore?
No, I think so. Or we've tried to train it as like salvation salesmanship or something like that. And really what it is loving God and loving people and helping people love God. I mean, it's pretty simple. I think bringing blessing and encouragement, bringing the love of Jesus into somebody's life. I mean, anybody can do that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Purple Fish. Where in the world did that name come from for the book?
Well, I was looking for an analogy for it, or a metaphor, and I wasn't sure whether to use treasure hunting or fishing, because either one of those is good for evangelism.
Right.
You know, Jesus is the treasure in the field and all that, and go be fishers of men. And then I found it. I was reading this novel, actually, and there was this little phrase in there, calcano, which means in search of the purple fish.
Right.
And what that really was referring to was the fishermen in Tyre that went on the Mediterranean Sea, and they put their nets down deep in search of the elusive purple fish. And so they would catch this little, it was a shellfish actually, and they would like squeeze it, and purple dye would come out. And then they would use that for priestly garments and stuff. It was high-end stuff. It was the greatest treasure in the world. And so really it ties in treasure and fishing into one thing. Wow. And see, Jesus is the ultimate purple fish. He's the greatest treasure the world has ever seen.
Right.
And so we're called to treasure him back.
Wow.
And so we treasure him through worship and through holiness, and then through mission. And that's joining him in his mission in the world. And the question is, what does Jesus treasure?
Right.
Like, what does he treasure? And the answer to that is people. Lost, broken, hurting people. He treasures lost, broken, hurting people. And if he does, then we ought to treasure lost, broken, hurting people too. They're all over. In fact, all of us are lost, broken, and hurting in one way or another.
Yeah. So if there's somebody out there and maybe they felt like they didn't have the ability or they didn't have the calling to be an evangelist or do evangelism, what would you say to encourage them or to instruct them about a first step to take to make an impact in somebody's life?
Well, make sure your heart's filled up with love for God and for people. And then once that is settled, which is really the basic bottom line, it isn't about a methodology, it's about a heart and an attitude.
Yeah.
And then you pray a prayer. First thing in the day, maybe just try this. Try to pray a prayer and say, God, could you make me a blessing to somebody today? Could you help me to bring your love and your encouragement to somebody who needs you? And I'll be willing, whatever it is, I'll follow the nudge. Whatever you nudge my heart to do, I'll do it. I'll be willing and I'll go for it. And if you pray that prayer, 100% of the time, he'll answer it with yes, because he desperately would love for us to pray that kind of prayer and join him in his mission. So we're not doing it ourselves, really. We're just going along with him and his journey, and then he opens up the doors and we just follow him.
Yeah. Mark talked about being filled up. He's actually wrote a book, Filled Up, Poured Out, and Purple Fish. Both books are available at WPH online. I highly recommend them. They're both in my library. They're both thin up and with lots of notes. Mark, thank you for your ministry at Hayward, your ministry to the denomination, for these great books. And I'm Heath Mulligan for Mark Wilson. We'll see you soon.